Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election that was held in Nigeria on February 25, 2023, and the result controversially announced on March 1st, 2023, in which that controversial result was challenged at the Presidential Election Petition Court, which delivered its verdict on September 6th in favor of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was a beneficiary of that controversial announcement on March 1st, when the Independent National Electoral Commission, despite serious opposition by the opposition parties, declared Bola Ahmed Tinubu the winner of the election. Now, following that verdict, the petitioners headed to the Supreme Court, where they are presently. And one of the things that the petitioners, especially former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the PDP, wanted to prove was that Tinubu, the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, the ruling party, submitted forged Chicago State University certificate to the Independent National Electoral Commission, which he found out to be true. Section 1371J of the 1999 Constitution will be invoked, and his election will be duly nullified, as previous elections that fall under that category had been nullified before. The latest case was that of Bayelsa State Governor, governorship candidate of the APC, who won the election to become governor of Bayelsa State, but his election was nullified by the Supreme Court by virtue of the fact that his deputy governorship candidate forged academic record, and the Supreme Court did the needful, and he was sacked. So Atiku is trying to replicate that at the presidential level. And in the process of doing that, Atiku headed to the Northern District of Illinois in Chicago to file a case to subpoena the Chicago State University to release the academic records of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And that record, those academic records, was eventually released to Atiku Abubakar, despite all the spirited effort that Bola Ahmed Tinubu made to ensure that Atiku doesn't have access to this record. It was so intense that even President Bola Ahmed Tinubu invoked the fact that the documents, if released, will cause him severe and irreparable harm. Despite that, Judge Nancy Maldonado went ahead to order the release of these documents to Atiku Abubakar. And now in Nigeria and around the world, everybody is feasting with the information therein in the documents. And the verdict is still out there in the public about Tinubu's academic records, still subject of discussion and debate. But one thing was clear: the registrar of the Chicago State University said that the certificate that Tinubu submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission, that they don't know where he got it from, that he didn't get it from them, and there was no evidence that he filled replacement form. And also, he had never even collected the original of his certificate before. So that being the case, Atiku is using that to establish the fact that what was submitted to INEC is forged. But the camp of the Tinubu, they have a different view. They say as long as the Chicago State University registrar said that Tinubu was admitted and that he graduated, that validates the fact that he was a student. Therefore, there was nothing wrong with the certificate they submitted to INEC. But the truth of the matter remains that if you if you put the two certificates, the one he submitted to INEC and the one that was originally from Chicago State University, the disparity is as different as day and night. That is the way it is. Now, while we are on this debate in Nigeria, and then with special interest being paid by the United States people, by the people of the United States, especially Nigerians in diaspora, it has caught the attention of the world. Now, a journalist, Loyden Palmer, who was a former alumnus of Chicago State University, has even added a new dimension to the whole matter, claiming that there is no proof that Bola Ahmed Tinubu graduated from Chicago State University. And he has tried to prove this by searching for Chicago State University's emblem yearbook, because the emblem yearbook is supposed to be the authentic embodiment of all that graduated in every academic session or year. Now, if you look at it on your screen right now, you will see that a section of the Chicago State University emblem yearbook I took a shot of it online. You discover that you have the yearbook for 1977, 1978, but there is no 79. Then you move to 80. That 1979 that ought to contain Tinubu's name and those that graduated that year is missing. And this journalist, who was also an alumnus of Chicago State University, Loyden Palmer, had also gone physically to the university's archive to check whether he can be able to find this 1979 emblem yearbook of Chicago State University. And he could not find it. Now that is what he's saying, that because he could not find that yearbook, because that yearbook is missing, you cannot say authoritatively that Tinubu graduated from Chicago State University. He's saying there is no proof. Now, this is despite the fact that in the deposition by the Chicago State University registrar, Mr. Westberg, he insists that Tinubu was admitted to this university and that he graduated. Now, let us see the argument of this Loyden Palmer. As I told you, he is a journalist and a Chicago State University alumni. He has narrated how he met a wide open door that left university's archive unsupervised and unrestricted. Now, what he's claiming here is that because of lack of security at the archive of Chicago State University, somebody could have easily walked in and picked away the book, the emblem yearbook, and disappear. Now, how did he come about this conclusion? He visited the place. He was an alumnus of the school. He visited the school. He went to the archive, and Palmer, he reported on his website that Chicago State University's archive reflected the integrity doubts that Nigerians have expressed in the university over President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's academic record. According to him, this is all that is on display on the public when it comes to the Chicago State University archives for yearbooks and school newspapers. He said that the archives at Chicago State University are an embarrassment, and that Illinois taxpayers should be enraged to see where their money is going and or not going to us. Palmer said of the photograph he took of the Chicago State University's archives. And speaking on this, the untidiness of Chicago State University archive, where these records are supposed to be kept, he said, according to the Society of American Archivists, the reference and research area should be supervised and restricted. A Chicago State University, at Chicago State University, it is neither it was said that on Chicago State University, on two separate occasions that he went there, he discovered that the place was not restricted. He had an easy access into the facility. But he was saying that under the American Society of American Archivists, a place like that should be supervised and restricted. But at Chicago State University, the place was so insect, so unprotected, so to say. It was not supervised, it was not restricted. According to him, I walked into the archives at the Gedlon Brooks Library on the north end of the campus through a wide open door. Located on the third floor, I sat down at the desk and started going through reference materials unmolested. About 15 minutes later, a man emerged from an office further down the hall and asked if I needed help. He was shocked to see me just sitting there, undetected, rummaging through a pile of old newspapers. The only reason he came out was because he was going to the restroom located nearby. I explained to him that I was looking for newspapers, yearbooks, and graduation programs from the late 1970s era, as I was doing some research related to that time period. And he gave what he called journalism tip. And he said, don't say that you want to see if I can find proof President Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually graduated from here in 1979. He said, if you're a journalist and you come there, don't ever mention that you are investigating whether Tinubu graduated from that school. In other words, he was alluding that perhaps there's a conspiracy. There's a conspiracy going on, either to protect the interests of Tinubu, so that immediately you mention his name, there will be stone walls that will be erected around about you that you can't, nothing else, you can't get anything you are looking for. So he said that if you're a journalist, he's giving you a free tip. Don't mention that you want to see if you can find proof President Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually graduated from here in 1979. Continuing further, he said to his credit, the gentleman was quite helpful and honest about the situation. He walked over and pointed at the shelves I had already discovered and said, it looks like this is all that we have. His own disappointment showing on his face. I will learn through our casual conversation that he had only recently been hired as the new university archivist, 2 months to be exact, and that the Chicago State University archives had been closed for 2 years due to the COVID pandemics and a position vacancy. In an interview that Palmer granted, he said that Chicago State University was lacking money. So they had not employed an archivist for 2 years before now. And he made a very important, in an interview he granted an FM station in Nigeria. He also talked about the deterioration of Chicago State University He recorded that when he was graduating in 1999, Chicago State University had about 8,000 students. Now they had only about 1,000 students, and that even the lecturers were on strike because of salary issues and all that. And he raised so much question in the interview that it would be nice. Anybody can go and search for it online. He spoke with a Nigerian FM station, and he revealed a lot of things on that beyond what he published on his website. He talked about how untidy Chicago State University, and he asked in that interview, why is it that Chicago State University is not taking advantage of Tinubu to use him to advertise? That Tinubu is an alumnus of the university, and that he is the president of the biggest black nation, the most populous black nation on earth, that Chicago State University ought to have used him for promotional purposes. But why are they not doing it? Now that's to raise questions about what Chicago State University may have known about him that made them not to take advantage of his position to drive more students from Nigeria and Africa to that university. Okay, but that's by the way. Now let us continue to see what Palmer wrote in his website. Now Palmer said that he searched for the 1979 Chicago State University emblem year, which ought to show Tinubu's graduating class, but couldn't find it. As I already told you at the beginning of this, that if you look, this is just an excerpt I took from their digital yearbook, okay, emblem yearbook, which is online. You can go and check it out. Chicago State University emblem yearbook, which Palmer is talking about. I've gone there to check it, and you can see this is a shot I took from it, and you can see that 1979 was missing. It was the only one missing. All other ones were there. If you go there, you see the rest. You see all the rest being there, but 79 was missing. And that 79 is the one that ought to have given the authentic information that Tinubu graduated from the university. So Palmer said that he searched for the 1979 Chicago State University emblem yearbook, not yearbook. The yearbook is different. This is talking about the emblem yearbook, which ought to show Tinubu's graduating class, but couldn't find it. He further explained that there were about 500 copies of the 1979 yearbook printed that year, but none of them is available now. Palmer went on to say that the yearbooks and other publications in Chicago State University's archive could be so easily stolen or smuggled out. He said, the newspapers and the yearbooks, without any security devices on them, could have easily been slipped into my bag and out the door if I had nefarious intentions, Palmer said. As I continued to search for any historical documentation about Tinubu in 1979, I inquired about commencement programs. He was also talking about that he couldn't see the graduating class, he couldn't see the commencement class program. Could it be possible I will find his name in there in the commencement program? Because he said he graduated with honors according to documents turned over by Chicago State University attorneys during the deposition. He went on to say that why not an official record of a student's graduation? They have my name in the 1999 program, and I neither graduated nor went to the ceremony that year, for Christ's sake. They can be used to help bolster the Nigerian president's claim or refute it. So the commencement book or the emblem yearbook would have helped to bolster the chances of at least giving certainty that Tinubu graduated. Going forward, after searching for Tinubu's evidence, because this man is committed to finding out whether Tinubu actually graduated. He's an investigative journalist based in Chicago, and he's an alumnus of Chicago State University. He's committed to finding out whether Tinubu actually graduated from the university. Now, in furtherance of this report, which he published on his website, he said, I was told once again that that's all we got. It was a pitiful pile, smaller than the newspaper stack, and once again, in no particular order. Most of them were just programs from honors ceremonies. The new archivist suggested I visit the provost office in the administration building to see if I could find some there. I thanked him for his time and made my way to the Cook administration building. A receptionist informed me that she did indeed have some, but they were only from recent years, the past 5 or so. She also said that she had stopped sending them over to the university archives because there was nobody working there. She was happy when I informed her there had been a new hire. Continuing, Palmer said Chicago State University has a history blaming someone for a problem it caused. Fix the problem, Chicago State University, not blame. If you fix the problem, there is nobody to blame. The search for the missing 1979 Chicago State University emblem goes on. So this journalist, this Mr. Palmer, he has committed himself to finding that 1979 Chicago State University emblem yearbook, which, as far as he's concerned, that is the book that will confirm whether Tinubu actually graduated from that university. He believed that if he can find that yearbook, emblem yearbook, it will put to rest questions about Tinubu's graduation. Now, this is despite the fact that Chicago State University registrar had, in a deposition, claimed that Tinubu was admitted and that he graduated. But this alumnus of Chicago State University is not buying into that. He is trying to find the Chicago State University emblem yearbook, 1979, that is missing. It's not in the archive. It is not in the online yearbook of the university. So everybody's eyes is on whoever will find this to put to rest whether Tinubu graduated or not. And it's interesting that the person seeking the solution is not a Nigerian. He's an alumnus of the university who wanted to make sure that the integrity of the university is preserved, especially as a result of a controversy that Tinubu's purported attendance of that university and graduating had become an issue of international discourse. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.